Vahi baboker vahi Leah, it was in the morning and it was Leah. Yaakov had been tricked. He thought he was marrying Rachel. In fact, Rachel saw that her sister was being placed in her stead, and the simonim, the secret code that Yaakov and Rachel had made up many years earlier, Rachel gave it to Leah so that her sister shouldn't be embarrassed. And when Leah came to Yaakov that evening, Yaakov asked her for the code. She immediately said it. Yaakov thought that he was marrying Rachel. In fact, it wasn't until the morning that he realized, Vahi Leah, that it was Leah. The Das HaKenim brings down the Medrash that in the morning, Yaakov turned to Leah and said, "How could you do this to me? That's deceitful. You fooled me." The Medrash says that Leah turned back to Yaakov and said, "I learned from you. Didn't you walk into your father wearing the skin, pretending to be Esav, wearing the begadim, the clothes of Esav? I learned from the tzaddik that there are times when one can be deceitful. I learned from you." At which point, Das HaKenim explains, that's when Yaakov began hating Leah because of her words. This Das HaKenim is very difficult to understand, because every word that Leah said was correct and accurate. She said, "I had a question. I wasn't sure whether one is permitted to act in this way or not. I studied the ways of the great tzaddik you. I saw that you did it, and as you did it, I did the same." But more than that, she's speaking to an ish emes. Yaakov is the ultimate man of truth. The words that she said to Yaakov were not only correct, they were truthful. Yaakov immediately should have said, "You're right. I did the same. What you did was proper." And if anything, Yaakov should have loved Leah for this. Why did Yaakov hate her for it? And I believe the answer to this question is based on the fact that oftentimes in life, you could be right or you could be smart. Many times it's not what you say, but how you say it. What Leah was saying to Yaakov were words of direct, almost attack. As if to say, you did the same. You were much like me. You did it. I can do it. And in a certain sense, they were words that were a bit too direct, a bit too straight to the heart. And as great as Yaakov was, as almost a total, complete tzaddik that he was, almost a malach yasharis, they hit something within him. It was as if to say, I did it, as if she was accusing him of doing something wrong. And on some level, it caused him to feel a sense of hatred. And on some level, it changed their relationship. And I believe there's a powerful lesson to us. Never in our lives will we meet a tzaddik of Yaakov's proportion, a man who's totally, completely other-centered, a man who has no ego, a man who literally walks on this earth and is almost malach yasharis. But if you hit, if you attack, if you point an arrow directly at his heart, it hurts, and he responds as any human being would, albeit much greater than any human being, but even he responded. And I think there's a tremendous lesson to us. And that is how we deal with our associates, how we deal with our friends, how we deal with our family. Many, many times, it's not just the words, but it's how they're said, and taking the time to think about how I'm going to say it, the people smarts. What will my words engender? How will they be received? Not what I'm saying, but how will that person hear these words is key and essential to being a mensch, key and essential to being an effective human being.